Well, my friends, welcome inside the new facelifted Skoda Kamiq Drive Plus action model in my country. And well, finally some rain there was overnight after the whole week of really hot weather. But anyway, let me talk you through the new interior of the Skoda Kamiq. And so we have this new sort of an Alcantara here throughout the dash. It's an option, of course, as are these I think they're called lodge seats. They are a combination of fabric and bits of Alcantara here on the inner parts of the support of the driver. They are quite a wide seat and they don't quite hold you in the corners. They have good support here for the thighs and for the lower part of the back, but otherwise they are more on the comfy side, and yeah, reasonably also soft, so quite good. Now let me maybe start up the car. And so yeah, otherwise the interior is unchanged, but what is new is this 10-inch screen in the center, where you have a new style of some buttons here on the side, of some shortcuts buttons. And I think it's a really nice infotainment. You also have, as an option here, you have the navigation from Skoda, which you really don't need because you can use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. But yeah, otherwise it's a really typical Volkswagen. What's very nice is that you can very quickly turn off the assistance, as always in Skoda. So the lane assist off, speed limit warning off, and then down here you have buttons, so start and stop off, and you can select very quickly the driving mode, which we will select individual mode. So that's pretty cool. And also, well, in this car you have this digital driver's display ahead of you, which probably many people like, and they like to pay for it. And also a feature that I really do like here is the classical handbrake, not one of those electric boring ones, but a really normal handbrake that you can use in the winter when you need to turn around very quickly and stuff like that. To the sitting position, I have to say the Skoda Kamiq is one of the cars that I really do like. The sitting position being a sort of a small SUV, because it really doesn't feel like an SUV in terms of sitting. It feels like a slightly raised Fabia sitting position. So yeah, I do quite like that. Anyway, let's start the car up after the cold, well, not such a cold night. It's 21.5 degrees centigrade. Yes, so let's go for a drive, and now let's talk about how there was the experience with this car. Now you can see how the wipers work on this car. Very nice. Also, let's use the rear one. And the quality here in the interior is actually, what am I doing? The quality here in the interior is actually quite good, but I do have some objections, because the quality here, like for the dash, you have some soft touch materials here, also here on the doors. But what I noticed, and it's actually very strange, that on some undulations, or really going from the flat surface down the hill, the car like sort of it flexes in these situations, and it makes the noises like here in the B pillars and here in the doors, some of the plastic noises, like if something was really flexing. So that's a really strange noise. And also here on the bumps, like I hear some noises here from the doors, which is very strange, you know. And you maybe would not expect this for a car from the VW group, which many people say they are one of the best quality cars, right? Yeah. So anyway, this car is equipped with a 17-inch wheels, and well, visually they look 18-inch really. And they are the biggest objection I think I have to this car, because I have to be honest, really they are too big for the car. And you can feel this by driving every day. They are just jumping off and make the ride really quite unpleasant. Yeah, they are quite noisy when they're going through the bumps. You just feel the weight, you just feel that you have really heavy wheels. You feel it from the suspension when it goes through the undulations, through the bumps, that it gets a big shot from it. Yeah, it's just not such a pleasant ride with them. And also as we know, with bigger wheels, they have a lot of negative aspects for cornering, and also it is present here. So really I would go for the smaller 16-inch wheels, and if you don't like the tires on that, you can just put a different sort of a sidewall of a tire there. But really I wouldn't go for these 17-inch wheels, even though I give them, they really do look, they have a nice design, they do look good, which I know plenty of people, that's the reason why they buy the big wheels. But really, if you prefer function over style, you should definitely go for the smaller wheels. They give you much better comfort, much better dynamics from this small 3-cylinder engine, and much better fuel efficiency, really. And so I told you the engine, as you already know, 1.0 TSI 3-cylinder, updated with more power than before, which is now 115 horsepower. So you get the same power that you get from a 4-cylinder in the updated VW Golf or the Skoda Octavia. So it's just up to you, but I guess most people will prefer the 4-cylinder in the Golf and Octavia, because I know many people just can't get through the 3-cylinder feel and sound and stuff. So, but I actually have to say, having driven this engine now in quite a few cars, it's actually an alright engine for everyday drivability. I mean, you don't get that much of power, or you don't even get a low ground. If you want to feel the car driving, at least that you're capable of driving with the traffic around you, you need to put the car into the sports mode to get some level of pickup, right? But I have to say, in combination with this DSG, well, the best part of it is the fuel economy. So I was able to drive this car for, we went on a trip. It was very hot, 36.5 degrees, 37 degrees outside. We were doing motorway at 130 kilometers per hour. We were 3 people inside, and the fuel economy was 5.6 on the way there and 5.1 on the way back, or at the end of the trip it went down to 5.1. So really a fantastic efficiency, if you take into consideration that this car is the sort of slightly raised, you know, like SUV style, so the aerodynamics are not the greatest, but really the engine does it well, right? So I really do like how efficient this engine is. You can really drive for diesel-like consumptions with the petrol engine, even in the city. You can drive in the 5.3, 5.5 liters in the city, up to 6 liters. If you want a little bit more dynamics in the city from the lights. So I think it's quite nice. I mean, then you have this DSG transmission, which you also get a manual mode with. So you can change either here with this gear shift, or you can change here with the paddles on the steering wheel. I tried some acceleration. Maybe if the engine gets slightly warmed up over there, I will do a little bit of acceleration. And well, the acceleration isn't anything special. You get the 0 to 100 in, I think it was around 10 seconds, and the top speed of 204 kilometers, which is actually decent for a 3-cylinder, I have to say. That is very, very decent for a 3-cylinder. And well, yeah. And now maybe also to the behavior of the suspension, if I should tell you. Well, we have quite a good caster there at the front, and what it does, of course, is that initially it makes the car lean onto the outer rear wheel, which feels like a correct behavior. But then with the geometry of the wheels, again, there is their setup of the Skoda, like there was with the Skoda Scala. They gave the car quite a big negative camber compared to the front wheels at the rear, and also and the toe in. But really, I think not enough camber on the front wheels. And so what it does is that the car the car, even despite when you turn into the corner and it feels right, like going onto the outer rear wheel, it then starts to understeer quite quickly. So yeah, it starts to understeer quite quickly, but maybe different from the Scala is that it understeers but somehow grips. It very much reminds me, if you remember, a 1990s car, Skoda Favorite. I know it wasn't very popular in the UK and in the Western Europe, but that car that had a massive understeer, but it was a sort of behavior that it would try to lean onto the wheel itself just to get some grip, you know. So it was a very strange behavior for the car, but somehow it was just somehow it was cornering. It wasn't doing it in the right way, but it was trying with all its capability, right? And that's what it feels like. So to me, this car really feels like if I was driving a 1990s Favorite today. There's a little bit of polish. Let's slow down. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a correct behavior, well, but somehow it just works in corners. I mean, you still have quite a bit of understeer, which you have to fight with and be prepared for. But yeah, I mean, it can be all right. And what you can say, being a small SUV, you get a good driver's position. You sit reasonably low. You don't feel like if you would be sitting in the, for example, the Renault Captur, like really high in an SUV. So that is quite nice. Well, yes, I guess that would be it. Now let's go to the likes and dislikes. And as always, let's start with the dislikes, because there will always be less dislikes than likes, I guess. And well, the dislikes, I guess it would be the 17-inch wheels. I really just don't think that you should get these wheels. If you really need to have your car, if you really need to have filled arches, go for them. But in terms of everything else, they are really bad. They spoil the comfort. They ruined the ride. They have negative effects for cornering, negative effects for dynamics of the car, negative effects for the acceleration. So I really wouldn't opt these wheels myself. You can decide for yourself. Then I would say there would be the behavior of the suspension. I guess it's not the most driver's car in the class, but it can be certainly quite a bit of fun, and at least it has a good positive caster. And when you're really driving, not sporty, but you're driving sort of a slightly dynamically through the corners and you want a precise car, it does give you a good feel of leaning onto the outer rear wheel when you're not cornering hard, and the steering is nicely weighted, precise, with reasonable amount of feel, although slightly disconnected here in the starting position when you start to turn in. But yeah, it's actually, yeah, it's okay. You know, it's a usual steering from the VW that you know. So I guess that would be a dislike. I guess one more would be this feeling of less quality when the car is flexing. So you have these plastic flexing noises here in the door, in the B pillars, and I think it just shouldn't be here. You don't get it in the cars like Renault and Nissan and stuff, but I got it here, and I don't really know why is that. So that would be another small dislike. And then, well, the likes, I think the looks were really improved, particularly from the rear. I really do like that lower part of the rear light that they've added. That looks quite cool. I really do love the efficiency of the engine. It's a really nice efficient engine, although it doesn't have low ground, it doesn't have that much of a power. It's a nice and efficient engine. You can really be very happy, very happy driving it. And then there is this front part of the interior, which is a typical sort of a Skoda VW. So you have a nice feeling actually of quality. This sort of Alcantara or suite on the dash is nice. You have hardware control for the aircon, which is really nice still. You have a normal handbrake. That's a big like that I have. I really do like that. So yeah, but now we're on the straight. Maybe let's let's try the acceleration. Okay, so I will try to show you. So we're doing, let's slow down to 50 into 3, and now it shifts down, and yeah, so as you might expect, you know, it's nothing special, but it certainly feels like 115 horsepower. Yeah, but the car, it loses the ground above 3,500 RPM. That's the way the engine is mapped and the engine works. So the spectre of the torque isn't wide. So you have to use what you have, right? But I guess from a 3-cylinder engines, this engine is still one of the better engines there is on the market. Although I think not as good as the Ford one or the BMW 3-cylinder. So yeah, and then, well, at the end is the price. So with the bonus, it's just over 28,000 euros. Is that too much? Well, consider yourself. One thing I know is that I wouldn't pay 28,000 for a crossover, but you know, it's just me because I'm a sporty driver. I need a small cottage or something. But I guess for somebody who just wants to travel places with their boyfriend or girlfriend and just want to see places, I guess it's quite a good price today, right? Well, yes, so I think that would be about it to the Skoda Kamiq. It's a really nice little crossover. It has a certain appeal to it, and with this 1.0 TSI engine, it has fantastic fuel efficiency, and I think that's the strongest part of the car with this engine. And the facelift itself really lifted the car. It looks better. You have even better design with the new wheels, and you have really good practicality, big space in the rear and really big boot. So yeah, that's a proper Skoda. So anyway, I think that would be it to the video. If it was helpful, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, because more videos are coming on very soon, and I hope to see you in the very next one. In the meantime, take care and goodbye.